Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak Graphix. Today, let's actually get ourselves into some more sports titles, but you're probably all too familiar with the usual case. A case in point scenario where EA, Electronic Arts, takes advantage of certain sports franchises and turns them all into somewhat redundant washouts. But believe it or not, today we are going to be talking about PGA Tour 2K21. Which, guess what? It's not an EA sports title. That actually made me feel more than just relieved. To finally find a sports title that was outside of the ordinary from what we could already tell with the annual release of every known sports title that's very popular, like NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL, pretty much. So for a PGA-based game out there, this one really is, in fact, as good as it could possibly be, because it's not an EA-based game. That's what really led me to picking up a copy. But also, more importantly, because of a lot of ideas I had to go, because Mainline Season 10 and 11 are actually currently in production as well. So, I never quite expected to get that far, but at this point in time, I probably will have to expect the unexpected. A Season 12 could even be in production at any given point in time, if that were to be the case. But I don't necessarily see that happening right now, but if that were the case, then I guess there probably will have to be quite a few other things I need to be especially watchful for. But, you know what? PGA Tour 2K21, for a golf game, a modern golf game that came out earlier this year, it's actually pretty good. There's been a lot of reviews that I've read, especially on Amazon, where I picked up a copy, like so many other games, where apparently some people are calling it redundant, some are calling it bad, some are calling it one of the worst games ever possibly made. But man, all the trolls that we've been seeing, basically. The classic example of a modern day internet troll that possibly screws you over for anything else. But, you know what? When I picked up a copy for less than $20 and played it, I actually really got a good kick out of it. Because of the fact it's not EA based, it doesn't have that certain quality to it. That quality that really gets you somewhere. Somewhere closer to expulsion of anger and hatred against EA. PGA Tour 2K21, something like this. How come we don't ever get releases of games that are like this anymore? Instead, we're getting EA Sports, NHL 21, MLB 21, NBA 21, NFL 21, and any other kinds of 21 and 22s that we'll possibly be seeing soon enough. So, at this point in time, I'll just go ahead and address the elephant in the room here, which is, of course, the actual game itself. It's like what you'd expect. It's a modern-day golf game, with varying courses suggesting in various different locations. Several different cities across the country, especially, in places like Maine, Texas, and Georgia. And a lot of these states have their own professional level PGA Tour based courses in real life, so that's a really nice thing that it seems to be capturing around here in this game and all that good stuff. The most important aspect, though, that I tend to find out of this is the unique level of customization that you can pick out towards your main avatar. If you probably had not noticed by now, then well, I will in fact be having PGA Tour 2K21 become a part of Megapix's Weekly Season 2 as the final episode, pretty much. But we'll also be seeing this in the 2-hour specials, as well as in Mainline Season 11, pretty much. So, PGA Tour 2K21 is going to have itself multiple placements going on in GWK content, of all sorts of things. At this moment though, I will go ahead and just talk about the customization here, because it is astoundingly big. You get to choose from some of the finest clothing designers of all sorts, from Adidas and Puma, to Nike, to Under Armour, and many other popular sports venues that are located throughout the country, and even throughout the world, with some rare merchandise collectibles that you can pick up in-game, either through progression through most of the game, throughout completing certain matches and certain courses, or of course, buying them as add-ons in the PlayStation Store. So, when you really get down to it, every single game wants to have its own quality when it comes to different customization processes, and also with different types of add-ons and downloads that you can get from the PlayStation Store at any point in time. And this game really does give us a big pitch. A nice, amazing selection of different things to choose from. You also got clothing of all sorts, ranging from shirts to pants to socks and shoes, and hats and glasses and gloves. And then, of course, you also got customization of the many different clubs that you use, from the driver to the wood to the hybrid to the iron and the putter, not to mention the wedge. And who could ever forget that the first big phase of it all is probably the best, where you get to customize your own avatar. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did, of course. My avatar goes by the name Hal Weston, who originates from Honduras and is pretty much middle-aged. So that's pretty much what my in-game avatar is like on my playthrough of PGA Tour 2K21, just to give you a good reference of what you'll be seeing in the future. And as for many other things, well, you do also get customizations towards other things as well. Lots of colorizations are put into play that you can either unlock or download or buy from the PlayStation Store. And it can be pretty darn fun to customize your character and all the unique items that are put into place. The clubs, balls, bag, everything pretty much. So, this game really has an amazing knack for really being as loyal to its audiences as possible, giving us a nice, fair representation without being a literal piece of scum. And that seems to be the case for a lot of EA games nowadays. The fact that they annually release these titles, it still is quite a baffler. And in here, we do get kind of the same thing, just to have a more accurate roster when it comes to various players who have played on the PGA Tour, especially with this current season that has been into play. It's also important to note that the actual PGA Tour has itself quite a nice amount of legacy following behind it. Players of all sorts throughout the country have gotten themselves a good amount of time spent on many different courses throughout the states, and many different holes and challenges, hazards, obstacles, and the like that they have to face. And I'd say within my own playthrough, I managed to do something similar with my character, Hal Weston, right there, pretty much swinging the balls around. And so at this point, I will go ahead and say that while it is a satisfying experience, it's probably not the greatest kind of sports game out there. And there are tons of other sports games I was able to play. Racing, basketball, baseball, FIFA, and all that good stuff. I tell you, there's just a lot of other varieties when it comes to sports that you can pretty much find yourself, but I will still say PGA is very satisfying by all means. So at this point, I'll just go ahead and say that while there are a lot of things about it that some people might not find interesting, that's just sort of the thing with trolls. They like to do these kind of things. They like to pick and choose whatever things they possibly can argue about. And that's pretty much the way of the world nowadays. There's always these kind of people wanting to dig up clout. If we can delete the internet, I would rather have that than ever let these kind of people try and rule over us any day. Dead serious. But you know what though? I'm still happy about what we're going to be doing in the future. A lot of things relating to gaming are pretty much going to be taking place here. And I will in fact get the chance to talk about some other things in the next several days. But you know what? There's still one last thing I'm going to be doing today, which of course will be another episode of Graphix, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to see more, go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.